In today's episode, I cover who your first hires should be for your online membership, where to find them, and how to continue growing your membership team to truly build a legacy membership that becomes an absolute world. Welcome to the $1 Million Memberships Podcast, where we help entrepreneurs like yourself start, grow, and scale multiple 6- and 7-figure online memberships with simple, step-by-step strategies that actually work.
Your life is about to get so good.
Let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of $1 Million Memberships Podcast. As you can see here, we've got our boxes. At the time you're listening to this, I am already moved, but I am recording this obviously early because I'm going to have a massive week coming up next week that I need to get ahead of the game. I need to do some pre-recording. But by the time you see this, I will be in the new house and you've probably already seen it. And I'm so excited. And oh my God. Dreams. Next episode, I think I'm actually going to do a full episode on that when it comes to memberships and just like the whole journey, because it's been crazy and I just feel like there's so much little things that maybe you guys knew about my life these last couple of years, and maybe you didn't know about my life these last couple of years, my journey and all the things. But I actually feel like it's a good story to tell because it was a journey and it wasn't a very easy journey, but holy shit, I'm glad to be here and I'm glad you're here, and I'm definitely going to make sure I do an episode on that. But let's get to what the episode actually is today, which is all on hiring. So maybe you are in a place right now where you've had your membership for a little while, you have members inside, and right now you are feeling like, holy crap, I am doing so much. I need to hire and I need to get some help with this membership if I want this to actually be sustainable, because I am doing all the things and I'm putting so much energy and work into this membership, and that is not why I wanted a membership. I wanted a membership to be able to do the things that I love and have an impact and all of the things, but I'm just working myself to death. Maybe that is you right now. Also, by the way, you guys, I don't really have notes for this episode. I'm really speaking from my heart for this one because I am passionate about this specific topic and scaling memberships, using team and all of the things. So just in case I'm kind of all over the place, that's why. Sorry. But the one thing that I will say when it comes to hiring, and I know this was definitely the case for me, I know this is almost always the case when I'm working with members who are at this place, who are actually ready to hire, the reason that we don't hire and why we have so much hesitation to hire is because when you have a membership, you have all these things that you do in it, and you send emails a certain way, and you know where to go in the Canva folders to get your banners, and then you know exactly what you put in an email, and it comes from your brain, but there's not actually a process on it. You just know to do the thing, and then you know how you want to show up in the community, but there's not a process to it. You just kind of remember to do it, and then you do it. And the thought of hiring somebody to take that over is actually more overwhelming than just doing it yourself, because then you have to train someone and create processes and actually show and spend time teaching someone how to do these things. And that is overwhelming. That is time consuming. You're like, I may as well just do it myself, because trying to get someone to learn this is going to be even harder. That is why people end up pigeonholing themselves, and then their membership grows and grows, then it plateaus, and then it starts to go backwards because they didn't hire at the right time. So I am just so passionate about hiring for memberships, but doing it smartly, doing it with intention and knowing how to do it. So most online business coaches will probably tell you that your very first hire needs to be a virtual assistant or an online business manager. Most people, most coaches who are just like general business coaches, most coaches who are not membership expert coaches will tell you that. On the other hand, I specialize strictly in memberships. That's what I do. And I kind of disagree with this. Now, don't get me wrong. Having a very general virtual assistant can definitely be a good hire for your business overall, but for your membership, you have to remember, one of the biggest factors of if your membership is going to grow is how established your culture is. And you want to really try and establish that culture as best as you possibly can within that first year. That is so important. And what ends up happening if you don't hire, if you're doing everything by yourself, is your membership starts to grow. all of a sudden you get more busy with things like support emails and putting in content and just trying to manage this membership that is growing. And then what ends up happening is you don't have enough time to actually be cultivating community and culture and connecting members and doing the things that actually is going to grow the culture. And then your membership just starts to become this container where people are in, but there's not actually a culture being created. So in my experience, your first hire when it comes to an online membership community needs to be someone who is directly responsible for the community and for creating community culture, for hitting your community KPIs, everything for member experience, everything around your community. That needs to be your first hire. That needs to be the focus. After that, when you have that person and you have someone who's really on it, that's when you can start expanding and hiring out more roles. But right now, as a membership expert, it is hands down, not even negotiable in my mind, that your first hire needs to be around your community. Again, when it comes to hiring for your membership, a really good hire is a really good community manager. Now, where to find a community manager is the next thing I am very passionate about, because you'll hear a lot of business coaches say, don't hire for likes. Don't hire somebody who's not an expert in the field. Hire someone who you have to pay really well. They're an expert, but they come in and you don't have to train them as much because they just know what they're doing. Now, when it comes to memberships, though, again, you need to be hiring literally for your community. That is what you need to hire for. You need to hire for your culture, for your community. I've been doing this method that I'm about to tell you since 2019. I have done both. I'll tell you the contrast of what I've done. I've done both. Every single time, the way I'm about to tell you to do this works out better than the other way. 2 ways of doing it. You, number one, hire someone from your community. Right? Somebody who is a member, who's already in the community, who already understands the culture, who understands the brand, and also who's interested in the thing that your membership does because they're in it. That's number one. Option number 2 is finding someone like LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever other hiring site and hiring the expert to bring them in. You're going to have to pay them more, but they're the expert. They should be able to, with some proper training and a little bit of onboarding, be able to just hit the ground running, right? I have done both. And every time that I've hired from LinkedIn or Indeed or someone who is outside, why does Amazon knock on the door? Why? Just put the package down. Don't knock on the door. God. Every time that I've hired outside of my community, maybe this is just me, maybe this is like I didn't vet the person good enough, it just hasn't worked out. But every time that I've hired someone from within my community, it is always better. Day and night difference. It has always worked out better. They've always stayed longer term. We've always had a good working relationship. It's just better. Marlo, leave it. So can you hire someone outside of your community? Yes, 100%. There's not everyone is going to be a bad fit. I'm sure that there are people out there that you can hire outside of your community, and with the proper training, all the things, it could work out. However, I am just such a fan of hiring from within the community, not only because they understand the community and they understand the brand and the culture, but also because of what it actually does for your community. If you hire from within the community, and again, make sure there's someone who you would be a good fit. And guarantee if you do this at like year mark, you will know your all-star people. You will have people in your head of who you actually just want to reach out to ask to be your community manager. That's normally the case. You just have these people that are all-stars and who just have it in them. You can spot that. But the other thing that this does is, remember, when it comes to memberships, we're not just building a course with a community attached to it and just having people in a container. To build an actual legacy membership, one that grows and grows and grows and makes 5-6 figures a month, becomes a legacy, becomes an absolute world, becomes a household name, like that kind of membership, those memberships are built when there is internal motivation to grow. Right? So people stay in memberships when there's internal motivation to grow, whether that is internal motivation to grow into roles or to join your team or to have a specific job within the industry because of your membership, or the list goes on. There's so many things. But it has to go beyond just the coursework or just the base level result that your membership gets. There has to be other opportunities to grow. And again, if people are coming into your membership, say you have a membership for art. If people are coming into your membership, maybe they come in because they want to learn how to paint, but also you might have a handful of people who they want to dominate that industry. They want to have a membership of their own someday, or they want to get a job teaching art, or they want to speak about art, or whatever, do workshops. They might want to have such bigger goals in that industry than what your membership does. Those are the people who are going to want to keep growing inside of your membership in terms of roles and paid opportunities and things like that. So when you hire from within your community, you are now setting the precedent inside of your community that, hey, you can actually grow here. You can grow in more ways than just what this membership offers. You can grow career-wise. You can grow personally. You can grow as a person from being inside of this membership. You can be connected to people you would have never been connected to. You could have opportunities to have roles that you would have never been able to get otherwise. Your membership needs to give people internal motivation to grow. And when you hire and show your members that you hire from within your membership, you will start to create that. And it doesn't have to stop at the community manager. This is just the first hire. It can go on and on and on. And this is what I do with people who are scaling their membership. They're trying to get to $20,000 a month or $30,000 a month, and they're trying to scale to $80,000 a month, $100,000 a month. This is where we really start talking scaling. And obviously, this can start way before you even hit those numbers, but truly, it's so important to do this. It doesn't have to stop at just hiring community managers. You can start to have, once you have a really good community manager in place, and you really don't need to have this massive team. That's another misconception. You don't have, being a successful entrepreneur, you don't need a team of 15 or 20 people. You can have yourself and a really great community manager, and then you from there, once you're on lock, once the community manager is on lock, your culture is really growing, things are working, that's when you can start creating more roles for people inside of your community at a volunteer basis. Maybe you create a role and the job is so small, it's literally just welcoming new people in the community and checking in with them at week 2 and 3 and 4. Maybe that single thing is a role, but maybe that is a non-paid role. Maybe that's a volunteer role, and you create these different volunteer roles within your community. Maybe you have someone who matches accountability partners. Maybe you have somebody who it's the podcast for your community if you have one, right? There's all these different roles that you can have that can be at a volunteer basis, but because we don't want to just have people volunteering for no reason, but these volunteer roles give them access to being able to come on in a paid container, or just gives them access to connections that they might have never had, or gives them the motivation to stay consistent in your membership because now they have a role in the community. This is not going to be for all of your members. Not everyone's going to want to do this, but again, you will have those people who want more than just what your membership has to offer. They want to grow more in that industry, and having these sort of roles inside of your community gets them closer to that. It gets them closer to connections with maybe you or your peers in that industry. It gets them practice leading a group. It gets them fill in the blanks. There's so many different things it could get them based on your membership. But this is something I have literally never heard another membership coach, business coach, whatever, talk about. And it blows my mind. I'm like, that is how you build a legacy membership, but maybe that's why I am the person to do that with. And I will just leave that at that. You guys, when it comes to memberships, your retention is 70% or more of your overall revenue. That means the people who are in your membership and then they continue to pay month after month, that makes up more than half, the majority of your revenue for the overall year of your membership. That alone should tell you how important it is to really take care of your community. So your first hires should not be website designers. Your first hires should not be like X, Y, and Z. Your first hires need to directly tie to retention, and that is through your community. If you are loving these episodes, I would love to know, actually, I would love for you, this is what I want everyone to do right now. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, go leave a review, and somewhere in your review, let me know where you are with your membership. Like, you in the very beginning stages, or are you scaling and growing, right? This conversation kind of applies to, obviously, if you're scaling and growing, which is good to know even if you're in the beginning, but you know what I mean. And that will really help me understand who's here and who's listening. Should I be creating more beginner content? Should I be creating more scaling and getting to that 7-figure mark with your membership content? So I'm going to be checking the reviews over this next week. Really, I am going to be checking it every day. I want to see where you're at. So leave me a review. Let me know how you like the podcast, any review that you actually have, but then somewhere in there, let me know. Are you just starting? Are you scaling? Where are you at with your membership? What is this helping you with? What topics are you loving on this podcast already? That's going to help me know what to create more of. And that's going to help me really be able to continue to show up for you in the way that you need. So let's do that. Leave a review. I am going to check that nonstop over this next week. It takes 2 seconds and I would appreciate it so, so much. Other than that, I hope this episode was helpful. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.